Today on Monkey Life, Jeremy brings back 2 new stumpies from Belgium, and they're a big hit with the team.
He's beautiful. Fred's really beautiful boy. So naturally, we're all a little bit in love.
There's concern for the health of elderly Sarky monkey Jethro, who needs surgery on his injured tail.
He's pretty old and worn out, I would say.
And hot potatoes served up with soup for breakfast, as the chimps get a winter warmer to start the day. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
Smells a bit macaque in there, but yeah, we're good.
The park provides a home for more than 250 monkeys and apes from 20 different species. Following an early start in Belgium and a trip across the Channel, Jeremy has arrived back at Monkey World with 2 stump-tailed macaques, Toto and Freddy, who needed rehoming.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Very well.
Hi, guys.
Grumpy, or are they?
No, we're not grumpy at all. We're lovely people.
Have they got names?
Yeah, this is Freddy.
Oh, he has got a name.
And that, yeah, he has got a name.
And Toto.
Yeah, but you ask the people who look after them.
That's what I said that, didn't I?
Yeah.
I reckon the keepers will have given him names.
He's a good boy.
This is their new home, the Stumpy House. If all goes well, they'll soon be joining the other 8 resident macaques and hopefully forming one harmonious group. Toto and Freddy have never lived together, so for now they'll be kept in separate bedrooms. But they'll be able to see each other and all the other members of the group. Alison's keen to meet the new arrivals. Both are thought to be around 25 years of age, quite elderly for a stumpy. However, first impressions are they could be a little younger. The team will know more once they've had a chance to watch their behaviour and get to know them. Freddy's brought into the house first. Both bedrooms have been prepared with food and water, and there's plenty of tree boughs for them to shelter behind if the sight of 8 others is a bit overwhelming.
Here we go. Oh, good boy. Oh, it's okay, it's just a slide. Don't panic. Good boy. Found the food already.
Like all stumpies, it seems Freddy loves his food.
Hey, Fred.
Where are we going, on the bench?
We're going to that one, we're going that one there.
Yeah.
Toto's going to be released into a tunnel outside, with direct access to his bedroom.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to be asked twice. Toto tries to prove he's not intimidated when Sam, head of the park's established Stumpy group, comes to check him out.
Now that we're all lip smacking.
Lip smacking can be a positive sign, a sort of Stumpy greeting.
Good boy.
Toto's already showing agility worthy of a much younger macaque. And Alison isn't convinced his estimated age is right.
They're saying that he's 25 years old, but I don't know if that's necessarily correct. I'm sort of feeling like he's got more energy and oomph than pretty much anybody here. Yeah.
Chilled out Freddy, on the other hand, seems to be the exact opposite to hyperactive Toto.
He's a very together young man, is Fred. He's much more stable, I think, than Toto. Toto's a bit of a loose cannon, I think, by comparison to Freddy. But time will tell.
Freddy is a friendly soul, and it doesn't take long before he's eating out of Steph's hand. One thing all macaques seem to have in common is their love of food.
He's beautiful. Fred's really beautiful boy. Considering he's quite old, he's in really good condition. He's moving about really well. So naturally, we're all a little bit in love.
So far, so good. But Alison is well aware there's still a long way to go.
Really fantastic. This is really going to liven up the entire group of stump-tailed macaques, and I just only hope that these two new boys will be able to find their place with our two existing boys, and that eventually we'll find some form of harmony. But, you know, macaques and stumpies in particular are pretty grumpy and fierce, so now that they're here, the reality of like the introductions that we have ahead of us is a bit full on. So these introductions we're going to have to be very cautious about.
Over at the Squirrel Monkey House, staff have become concerned about the health of elderly Saki monkey, Jethro. He shares his home with a female Saki called Chloe and 4 squirrel monkeys, and despite being a bit of a loner, has always seemed quite content. Jethro is one of Monkey World's most popular primates. He's a quirky soul, and at 27 years of age, he's now an old man. Over the last few weeks, his tail's been irritating him, and the constant attention he's given it has led to a nasty wound opening. Despite various attempts from staff to help, his tail just isn't healing.
We're not sure what started it, and we're not sure whether he got a little injury on the tip and then he started grooming it and it's progressed into a behavioural problem of over-grooming and sometimes chewing at it, or whether he actually made that injury himself. So we're not completely sure where it came from, but he just now seems to obsess a little bit over it, and it becomes a focus for him, and he chews it quite badly sometimes. So we've tried many different things, and none of these things seem to have worked.
The team have decided to call in vet Sue Thornton to examine Jethro's tail, give him a general health check, and take some x-rays. It's a bit of a last resort because any anaesthetic procedure is a risk, particularly for a primate of Jethro's age.
Saki's generally live between 25 and 30 years, so he is an old boy. He's a bit of a skinny boy. We believe he's probably got some arthritis there because of his mobility. So he's not an ideal candidate for anaesthetic, but we have to do the best for him, and we have to do whatever we think is right. And if there's a small risk involved, we still have to take that risk to try and make him better.
Okay, great.
To keep Jethro's stress and anxiety to a minimum, after being anaesthetised in his bedroom, he's quickly transported to the park's hospital. Sue can now get a good look at his tail, but first impressions aren't good.
Well, the tail is warm. It's interesting, it feels warm to the touch, this. So I think I'd like to take the bone to there.
Sue decides the best course of action for Jethro is to amputate his tail about 5 inches below the wound. Any more, and Jethro might have trouble moving around as he relies on his tail for balance.
Have we got the bone cutters? Thank you.
Sue leaves a small flap of skin, which she can then stitch over the remaining part of the tail in the hope that Jethro will leave it alone.
What I've done is take it back to what looks like reasonably thick and healthy tissue. And then I cut back the bone sort of part way through one of the vertebrae of the tail. And if it all heals, he's still got a bit of a tail to help him move around.
Sue's happy with the operation. And while Jethro is still stable under the anaesthetic, she grabs the opportunity to take a series of x-rays.
As soon as we've done this x-ray, we'll weigh him and then just wake him up properly. Okay, just take it in, Tom. Okay.
Jethro's mobility isn't very good, and the x-rays might help explain why.
Yeah, that's all right. 1.74 he is. So he's lost a little bit of weight, but...
Well, 1.8.
Yeah, that's all right.
While the primate care team take the chance to give Jethro a quick brush and a groom, Sue takes a close look at his x-rays.
He's a very old animal, and he's got arthritis of knees and elbows. The base of the tail are very arthritic, and he looks like across his lumbar spine he's very fused, the vertebrae are fused, which means he's very stiff. So what we need to do for him now, if he leaves his tail alone, is to make sure we can just control his discomfort from the arthritis, and hopefully he can go on for a bit longer. He's not got long for this world, but we can maybe make him more comfortable, and we're giving him a chance. But if this tail gets chewed again, he'll have to be euthanized. Yeah, he's pretty old and worn out, I would say.
Karen and the rest of the primate care team are just relieved to see Jethro coming round from his anaesthetic.
You're never supposed to have favourites. Fortunately, this little fellow is quite high up in everyone's hearts here at the park, so he's currently waking up. So fingers crossed he'll continue to recover, and we'll take him back to his house.
Come on then. Good boy. Hey, baby.
And once back in his bedroom and fully recovered and awake, to make up for his ordeal, Jethro gets one of his favourite treats: custard.
Delicious. Best thing in the world.
For now, all the team can do is keep everything crossed and hope Jethro leaves his tail alone so he can make a full recovery. A new day dawns at the park, and with it comes a very special birth at Chippy's woolly monkey enclosure. After what seemed like an eternity, Paquita has finally given birth. Following the recent tragedy of losing son Lucas, this is great news for her and the entire group.
Both Paquita and the new baby are looking really, really well. The baby's actually quite a decent size, and Paquita's looking good. She's alert, she's eating, she just looks quite tired and quite sore.
Paquita's quite a competent mum, having successfully raised 3 babies in the last 6 years. She's very relaxed and trusting of the staff, so Emily's already managed to get a good look at the baby, and she's certain it's a boy. But the question throughout the pregnancy has been, who's the daddy? And it seems it's Chippy. There was some uncertainty originally because Paquita lived with Oscar before he sadly passed away. But the timing of the birth indicates Chippy has become a dad for the 3rd time at the park. Just last month, Paquita, now in Paolo's group, also gave birth to a healthy boy. Chippy is the little one's most likely dad, as he was the alpha male there before he was moved to Oscar's group. To keep track of who's related to who within the woolly breeding programme, staff are naming newborns with the first letter of their father's name. So, as the 2 new arrivals are deemed to be a chip off the old block, Paquita's baby boy has been named Claude, and Paquita's son will be Cassius.
Chippy certainly noticed the new arrival in the group, but he's been a very respectful, dominant male, so he just lets Paquita get on with the whole thing, and he's not that hands-on at the moment. When the babies start to get a little bit bigger and can climb off mum, he'll kind of let them come over to him and maybe have a play in the future, but for the time being, he realises that Paquita needs a little bit of quiet and a lot of rest at the moment, and just lets her get on with it and keeps his distance and does his own thing.
To minimise the stress a new arrival may have on the group, Emily's keeping their daily routine as normal as possible. For now, Paquita and the baby are being kept indoors, which means the rest of the woolly group can take a close look and the care team can monitor the baby to make sure it's strong and suckling well.
So one of the youngsters, Xavi, in the group, has been quite brave, and he's actually going up almost behind Paquita's back when she's not looking and trying to secretly kind of poke the baby and find out what it's all about. And then Paquita's other offspring in the group, Isla, is also really interested. So she's very close to mum anyway, so she's sitting really close by, and I have seen her hand be outstretched a few times, reaching towards the baby again, just to find out what it's all about, really.
Paquita's eldest child, Isla, has now reached sexual maturity, so there's a strong possibility that in the near future, she could well have a baby of her own. This is a fantastic opportunity for her to watch Mum Paquita and learn how to mother a baby from the beginning, just as she might in the wild. Just being close by and observing the skills needed to raise a newborn will stand her in good stead when it comes to her turn to be a mum.
Paquita's actually just batting her hands away at the moment. I think it's just a little bit soon. It's very early days for Paquita, so maybe in a day or two she'll be a little bit more tolerant of Isla, but she's certainly trying her luck at the moment.
The future of the captive woolly monkey is extremely vulnerable, so any birth is a big celebration for everyone. It's a huge relief that both Paquita and baby Cassius are happy and healthy, and have the support of their devoted family for as long as they need it. There's a definite chill in the air at the park today, but over at Paddy's group, the chimps are in line for a toasty treat. What could be better than jacket potatoes and cups of steaming hot pumpkin soup to warm them up? During the colder weather, the team are keen to keep the primates occupied. It's the perfect time for a bit of comfort food, but also a good form of enrichment for the group. These treats should keep them cozy.
Absolutely freezing today. It looks nice and sunny, but it's really chilly, so I've got all my layers on today. So hopefully these should keep them nice and warm for the morning.
The chimps have never had pumpkin soup before, so hopefully it'll be something of a nutritious novelty. And to discourage squabbles, Annabelle is making sure there's plenty to go round for everyone, as well as lots of jacket potatoes. The group are straight outside, keen to see what's on offer, with Bart leading the way. An excited Beth manages to grab 2 potatoes. But that's not nearly as impressive as Pepper, who seems to be storing up for a cold winter ahead. Clint reckons potatoes and soup make a good combo. While Gamba opts for 2 soups, and a novel method of carrying them, leaving his hands free if he finds any baked potatoes. But even 1 soup is a bit too complicated for Grisby, who's spilling most of hers. Cindy warms her hands around the hot soup, while Bart carefully tucks into his hot potato. She might be low-ranking, but Pepper has hung on to her hoard and found a nice, comfortable spot to get stuck in. High-ranking Beth joins Bart to enjoy her soup. Being the son of boss Paddy, Bart is fairly high-ranking too, but it's always sensible to keep in with the top ladies. Lola's finding the tasty soup a little too hot, so cleverly places the cup in the cold water to cool it down for later. Kathy's arrived to join Bart as potato snack finished, he moves on to soup for seconds. Pepper's polished off her spuds and now developed a novel approach to hoovering up every last drop of soup by biting a hole in the bottom of the cup and sucking out the contents. Breakfast has been a real success. Warmed up and with full stomachs, the satisfied chimps make the most of some warm winter sun. It's been a few days since Saki monkey Jethro had surgery to remove the tip of his tail. He was given antibiotics to try and keep infection at bay and painkillers in case it troubled him, but he still wouldn't leave it alone.
Great.
During the procedure, Vet Sue gave the aging Saki a general health check and discovered Jethro also has arthritis of the knees and elbows, and a couple of vertebrae in his spine have fused.
He's pretty old and worn out, I would say.
After the operation, Jethro was kept in his bedroom to give him time to recover. But once again, he was unable to leave his tail alone, causing infection to flare up. It's left the team at Monkey World with very little choice.
That, as well as his other problems that we found out on vet day, have actually led us to make the decision, a very difficult decision to put him to sleep, unfortunately. Maybe we should have done it on the day and maybe not woken him back up, but we just weren't ready to say goodbye to him right then, and we wanted to give him as much of a chance as we possibly could, which now we believe we did, and we tried everything we could for him. But yeah, it's time for us to say goodbye, and none of us want to. He was a massive part of our lives, the whole Monkey World family. So yeah, it's one of the hardest decisions I've had to be part of here at the park. But right now we feel like we're doing the best thing for him. So that's the decision we've had to make.
Hey, little man. Oh, I know.
Jethro arrived at the park in September 2012 at the age of 22. He'd been hand-reared as a pet by 2 zookeepers, and when they couldn't look after him anymore, they asked Monkey World for help. During most of his 5 years at the park, Jethro has lived with squirrel monkeys and cotton-top tamarins. But last year, after much searching, a companion was found for him, elderly female Saki, Chloe. And although she was keen to be his friend, Jethro mostly ignored her. He was more interested in sitting at the window of his outdoor enclosure, interacting with visitors, than taking part in normal Saki behaviour.
She did love him. She followed him around a lot. She doted on him. So she is a bit quiet now, and it's obviously going to take her a bit of time to get used to the fact that he's not here now. But we'll keep an extra check on her. We'll give her lots of love, lots of attention, and we'll make sure she's happy without him.
Despite his often strange mannerisms and quirky behaviour, Jethro was a firm favourite with staff and visitors alike.
We love all the animals that we work with here at the park, every single one of them, but some of them, they just touch your heart a little bit more than the rest. And he was one of them, and I don't know what it was. He was a cantankerous, stinky, weird little old man, but everybody that worked with him adored him. People call him the living wig and the selfie king, and he was just such a massive part of the small monkey section and of Monkey World. So yeah, he will just be missed by everyone that worked with him and even the people that didn't work with him.
Next time on Monkey Life, stump-tailed macaques Toto and Freddy get to meet their new housemates. With varying results. And the capuchins show off their agility to reach a fruity treat.